This video is brought to you by lowvoltagegaming.com. Check out their website every week for new video game reviews. Remember when everyone didn't unjustly hate BioWare instead of EA for botching the ending of Mass Effect 3? I certainly do, and I loved it. This was my first BioWare game, and despite its age, KOTOR is some of the most fun I've ever had. What makes KOTOR so amazing is the same thing that made the original Star Wars movies amazing. The emphasis on story, which really is where the new ones fell down, because all the effort was put into adding enough digital effects to induce a dubstep-themed dance party. Seizure. Gameplay in KOTOR is focused on two elements: interactive cutscenes and stat-based combat. In combat, there are 5 weapon types. Blaster pistols, which are inaccurate, weak and useless. Blaster rifles, which are inaccurate, weak and useless. One-handed blades, which are awesome, because if you dual wield them, you look like a ninja. Double-bladed blades, which look unwieldy and a bit stupid, but are very powerful. And these weird stun baton things, which are weak, slow, and on the whole, useless. Force powers also come into play a couple hours into the game, and in its later levels, Force Lightning kicks ass. It may be the single most powerful fighting move in the game. You also get access to a plethora of useless stun and damage over time abilities that collectively do the same thing. Jack all. The first ability I got, however, was Force Speed, which adds something like 2 to 6 times speed bonus to alleviate the stress of the standard turtle crawl running speed. And the turtle doesn't have any legs either. It's dead in a ditch surrounded by burger wrappers. The story of the game starts like this. It's 4,000 years before the movies, so naturally, technology is better. Wait a minute. You wake up aboard a ship called the Endar Spire, and you're tasked by your surprisingly loud and assertive ally Trask Olgo to rescue Bastila. Trask was a strange man. He would always confuse my character. When telling him to open boxes, he would say things like, "Left-click the box to open it." I had no idea what this left click was. Nonetheless, I persevered. And I liberated Spain. You soon find out that the galaxy is in the middle of a war between the totally different British Sith Empire and the weak, whiny, and absolutely righteous American Republic. You spend about a quarter of the game on Taris, a small, boring city world, where you must continue the search for the elusive Bastila. Then after you find the cold-blooded shell of a character who is apparently the love interest, you go to Dantooine, to learn the ways of the Jedi. Then you spend the rest of the game in search of the great Higgs boson dispenser, by finding a series of incomplete maps scattered across the galaxy. Whoever these mystical, all-powerful Forerunner precursor people are, they really could stand to complete their bloody map systems before dropping them underwater and inside caves for no reason. The best planet to visit is Korriban. On Korriban, you're treated to vast and ancient burial grounds, plenty of sunlight, and a training facility for the initiates of the most evil art in the galaxy. Yep, the Sith Academy! It's a fun contrast from the Jedi Academy, as evil choices and violence is strictly prohibited there. On Korriban, killing your classmates is celebrated! Your tutor even gives you advice on who to kill first, not to mention she tells you to kill the headmaster. Thus begins a potential back and forth game you can play between the two, potentially killing them both! Then there are other planets like Kashyyyk and Manaan, which are both dreary, although Manaan adds a kind of horror element as you're trapped in an underwater facility and at risk of being killed by a group of insane mutant fish people. Tatooine is, on the whole, a giant desert with random intervals of sand people attacking you with unskippable 5-second cutscenes every 20 seconds. However, you can also purchase the best character in the game from there. Freaking HK-47, an assassin droid with a hilariously dark sense of humor. I quote him, "Love is making a shot to the knees of a target 120 kilometers away." So story-wise, I can't go much further without spoiling it. I know, the horror of spoiling a 9-year-old game. But I will say that if you value games for story, then KOTOR is a terrific choice. Let COD die with Black Ops 2, and real games will forge ahead to a brighter future without all the whining 12-year-olds.